Hello everyone, I'm Christina. Tonight we're going to be talking about the subject of physician-assisted suicide. I'm going to go a little bit into it first. It's currently legal in 5 states, Oregon, California, Montana, and Vermont. Now, a lot of these programs are based off the original Oregon model, which I will go into a lot deeper detail in a second. It basically states that terminally ill patients are allowed to receive physician-assisted suicide. This is not the same as euthanasia. They are 2 very different topics. Euthanasia is not agreed upon beforehand. This is consented by the person who is being assisted. Now, our topic for tonight states that physician-assisted suicide should be legal for terminally ill patients in the U.S. And I'm going to go through our claims. I'm going to look at the significance claim first, looking at the benefits, including the costs. Now, looking at physician-assisted suicide, we seem to ignore the fact that terminally ill patients suffer from a great deal of pain and sometimes no longer wish to go through that. Now, Article Myriad and both Lone Star EDU support the idea that when a patient is in great agony, sometimes the only way out is through death. And a lot of the times they suffer for months or years at a time before they are able to pass peacefully. This is not enjoyable. They are not allowed to participate in activities they enjoy. They can't see their families as much as they should be able to, and a lot of the times they're too ill to even get out of bed, and they're under hospice care and a bunch of other circumstances that make it difficult to want to be alive. Now, the New England Journal of Medicine looks at the cost as well, and it's noted that 27 to 30% of the Medicare budget is spent on 5% of Medicare patients who die each year. Now, this means that the expenditures increase as death approaches. So looking at the last month of life, this accounts for 30 to 40% of the cost being implemented. Now, we can't put value on someone's life, and saying that it costs more money is not so much a good way to look at it, but it also is the idea that the person is being put under strain. Financial strain, it's on the family and on them themselves, because if they pass away, there's debt involved, and it can become an issue. Now, if you look at the cost of physician-assisted suicide, it usually is lower and covered by insurance, so it makes it easier on the patient too if they decide to go that route. We move on to the solvency claim today. I'm going to look at future outcomes and usage. Now, the New England Journal of Medicine states that in the U.S., approximately 60,000 Americans, which is 2.7% out of 2.3 million people, might choose to use PASS each year. Now, it's not a lot of people, because a lot of people don't wish to go this way. They have certain beliefs that prevent them from wanting to, decide on this route. But there is many who would like to have the option available. We can look at some other countries to see how this also relates. The New England Journal of Medicine states that 90% of Dutch patients who died of PASS at their own explicit request only shorten their lives by 4 weeks or less. This means that in the end, half the time they end up dying soon after. This is at the point where their agony is the greatest. It's good to have that option available if it comes down to the point where they believe it's now unbearable. I'm going to move into the Inerrancy Claim, which I'm going to look at the current programs we have in place in the U.S. As I said before, 5 states already have PASS programs implemented: California, Vermont, Washington, Oregon, and Montana. The LA Times states that all of these models are based off the 1997 Oregon model. There are many regulations in the Oregon model, which I'm going to go to in just a second, that make sure everything is regulated properly, so people who are too young or are not terminally ill will not receive the medications if they don't meet the requirements. Looking at Oregon, too, in the last 17 years, doctors have written 1,173 prescriptions, and out of those, 752 patients have taken them, and 421 have decided not to and passed on their own. This means that it's not so much about everybody choosing to die immediately, it's about having the option available if it becomes too much to bear. So it's not like we're forcing people to do this, it's letting them have the choice if they would like to. In the first 6 months the law was implemented, 111 people in Oregon ended their lives with PASS. That is quite a few who seem to have been waiting for this to pass as a way to let themselves go on. Now I'm going to go into the regulations of the Oregon plan, which, looking in a nationwide ideal, this is what we're planning on following. In Oregon, you must be an Oregon resident. You must be capable and able to make the decision on your own. That must be verified by a psychologist and 2 doctors. You have to make 2 requests. They have to be 15 weeks apart from each other. If it's not, you're not allowed to receive the medication. The patient must provide a written and witnessed statement to the physician. And the prescribing physician and consultant physician must concern the diagnosis and prognosis, meaning that they have to be confirmed to have a terminal illness, and they will be expected to die within the next 6 months. Now, of course, there's loopholes involved in this situation, which have been resolved over time, as this started in 1997. It's been a very long time. California has picked this up, closed some gaps. Everything must be by request. Family members are not allowed to include their influence in the patient's opinion, and there are many other circumstances that prevent certain patients from meeting these requirements. Thank you.